So the Eagles had their first padded practice of the season, and the intensity of practice was way up. And one guy who wasn't playing around today was Jalen Carter, who decided to start to destroy offensive linemen. Kick Dingbat here. So the pads were out at practice today, and the intensity was way up. And one guy who said, "I'm not playing around," was Jalen Carter. As soon as the pads come on, he decides to go Destructicon on all the offensive linemen, tossing guys like Mekhi Becton around like ragdolls. There are good things happening with this team. There are good signs that we've got to talk about. But a big practice for the Eagles nonetheless today. And without further ado, let's start with the injury report. Here we go. Not practicing. Oren Burks knee. Tyler Steen ankle. Limited Trevor Keegan shoulder. So his arm injury the other day was not nearly as bad as some of us were worrying about. Lane Johnson was back. Toe injury was nothing to worry about. It wasn't Avonte Maddox's big-ass toe. Also, Saquon Barkley is back with the team. He was absent for personal reasons yesterday. Now, I love when the pads go on. I love when the pads go on because practice gets a lot more vicious, a lot meaner, okay? The intensity goes way up there, especially with the battle between the offensive linemen and the defensive linemen. And it's so funny to me because, all through camp and since they signed him and now coming out with his pads, what you were hearing early on as practice was getting started and the pads were on is, "Man, Becton's a big dude. Man, Becton's a big dude. Man, Becton's a big dude," right? You're hearing this all over the place. It's getting tweeted out and whatnot. And then so practice starts and Jalen Carter takes Mekhi Becton by the right hand and he just starts flinging him around, swatting the crap out of him, just manhandling him. Jalen Carter is going to have a monster year, and it's not even a joke. It's going to happen. Jalen Carter had a big day today. Okay, very, very big day. Now, for your first team defense, let's talk a little bit about the linebackers and the corners for a second. Then I want to get back to Jalen Carter. But day 5, first team defense for the Eagles. Once again, linebacker Zach Bond and Devin White. That's right. Zach Bond. Is that a surprise at this point? No, it's not. Cornerback, a little interesting. You had Darius Slay and Isaiah Rodgers. So you got Isaiah Rodgers the first day starting with opposite of Darius Slay. Then you had 3 days in a row of Ringo. Well, now they're back to Isaiah Rodgers. So what that means is that job is not won yet. That job is clearly going to be played out for, and preseason games are going to mean a big deal. It's going to mean a big deal to see what Ringo, what Rodgers does. They are fighting for that opposite starting position. Also, it was interesting, but they had Quinyon Mitchell, who we're going to speak about later because I think he showed us something huge that bodes very well for the future. But Quinyon Mitchell was starting and taking reps in the slot. So he was getting starting reps in the slot. I don't know if that's a factor of we just got to find a way to get him on the field, or is it, hey, listen, Cooper DeJean isn't here, so we might as well give those reps to Isaiah Rodgers. But Isaiah Rodgers, nonetheless, he started today, okay? Now, as far as the linebackers go, From what we heard, there was one play I heard Nakobe Dean's name. Just one play. All right, Nakobe Dean, nice play versus the run. We heard a few things about Trotter, making some nice plays, especially against the run. But it seems like Bourne and Devin White are the guys. Now, Bourne took a beating, all right? Because, like I said, when the pads come on, you really get to see a different side of the offensive line and defensive line. You don't see a lot. I don't think you can take a lot from the practices we've had, these OTA, mini camp type practices where there's no pads, no hitting, nothing. And then you want to judge how your defensive line is or how your offensive line is. It's a lot harder. But the pads come on, the intensity goes up. And Fred Johnson, shout out to Fred Johnson. Who the hell is that? I swear, I don't know if I didn't do a video that day or whatever. Usually I remember the guys that we signed and doing a video on them. I don't remember anything on Fred Johnson. I'm not saying it ain't out there, but I just don't remember. But he decided to destroy Zach Bourne today. Brandon Legout wrote this. Fred Johnson pancaked Zach Bourne, who didn't like that, ran up and shoved him from behind. Fight avoided, but the intensity is ramping up with the pads on. Dave Zagara wrote, Fred Johnson decked Zach Bourne on a play. Bourne didn't like it. He chased down Johnson, gave him a half-hearted shove. Johnson walked back to the huddle laughing. Pads are back. And that's what you love to hear, okay? I love to hear that intensity going on. I'm an old school believer. I'm Buddy Ryan old school. I think there should be 3 fights at every practice. Buddy Ryan did no problem with guys fighting. I have no problem with it. It's got to happen at least once every training camp. I'm expecting it to happen some point this year. Once these guys get into later on in camp where they're starting to get tired, annoyed, and they're ready to go, it'll happen. But your offensive line, you had Becton at right guard today. Fred Johnson, in terms of when they were doing the 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s, he was out there for Lane Johnson. Johnson was back, but I guess he was limited in what he was doing. So really, you Becton at right guard. Fred Johnson was at right tackle. Like I said, on the defensive side, you had Rodgers on the outside and Quinyon Mitchell in the slot. Bourne and White at linebacker. And then Quinyon was getting reps with second team outside corner. So, we're kind of seeing that these battles are still going on, and they're going to play themselves out in preseason, which is going to make preseason so mother humping interesting. So now, for me, one of the most interesting parts of today's practice, when the pads come on, is always the battle between the offensive and defensive line. And I will say this about our offensive line: so far, they have been, they have been a little banged up. Nothing major or anything like that. But you got a lot of little injuries, right? You have Landon Dickerson started out training camp. He wasn't even practicing. Then today, he gets injured again. He goes back in the tent, comes back out, fortunately. Tyler Steen, he's out a few days. Lane Johnson was out yesterday. He was limited in what he did today. Keegan hurt his arm yesterday, which ended up being a shoulder. So our offensive line has been getting a little bit banged up. But I will say this. Guys like Mekhi Becton are taking advantage of it. Fred Johnson, they're taking advantage of it. And that's a good thing. And in the long run, I think that makes your offensive line better and deeper when you have guys that can go out there and play. So it's not all bad, even though you hate to see it. Now, it's just so funny to me because Mekhi Becton, who was playing guard today, right guard, they just keep talking about how big and how gigantic he is, especially with the pads on. And then he goes out there, and Jalen Carter just manhandles him, just pushes him around, swats him around, like he's nothing. This isn't the first time we've seen Jalen Carter do this. He did this a lot last year, too. Brandon Legout wrote this. Jalen Carter just swatted the crap out of Mekhi Becton to get pressure on Hurts. And then there were other people that posted stuff about how he just tossed him around like he was nothing. Jalen Carter is very, very strong. Jalen Carter, monster, monster, monster year. Okay, it's going to happen. And I'll say this: my expectations for Jalen Carter are between, I would say, 10 and 11 sacks, or say nine and 11, 9 to 11.5 sacks. I think he should be somewhere around there. Okay, I just do. Now, Milton Williams is another guy that I want to talk about because every day, whether the pads are on or the pads aren't on, Milton Williams seems like he's making a play. He is in prime. He is primed to have a monster year too. Unfortunately, what I worry about him is he's going to have such a big year, which you want, that it's going to be hard to resign him. It's going to price us out. But another good day for Milton Williams. Milton Williams deflects Jalen Hurts' pass at the line of scrimmage. He's been very active. He's made at least one play, it seems like, every practice. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, good day today. They said he got in the backfield stopping the run, especially when they were doing the red zone drills. And, I like what I'm hearing about some of these guys on defense. To hear Carter throwing around the offensive line, it's great. It's great. But I tell you what, I think Quinyon Mitchell had his best practice today. And here's why I say it. Not just because he got some reps in the slot as a starter, but Quinyon Mitchell, and the thing you want with your defensive backs, right? The thing you want with your corners is you want corners who have a short memory, that are able to, they give up a play, they get beat, but it doesn't bother them. There are too many corners, especially that have played in Philly, that go out there and they mess up, they have a bad play, and they never let it go. They never get over it, okay? I think Quinyon Mitchell showed us something special today, because what happened with Quinyon Mitchell, he goes out there, he lets a big play, a big pass to, who the hell was it? I forget. It was, Joseph Nagata. I'm sorry. It was Joseph Nagata, right? So Quinyon Mitchell gives up a big pass to Joseph Nagata. All right, you think, oh, crap, he gave up a big pass. Well, he comes right back, short memory, not worrying about it, and he goes out there and he blankets A.J. Brown on 2 straight plays. Not only does he do that, he talks crap to him. This is a sign. This is what you want to see from your corner, all right? Brennan Leagout wrote this. 1-on-1, Quinyon Mitchell gave up a sideline catch to Joseph Nagata, but then he blanketed A.J. Brown to prevent a throw. Martin Frank wrote, 1-on-1 drill, Quinyon Mitchell covering A.J., pushed him out of bounds to kill the play. Then talk some trash the next time, and A.J. makes a nice corner move in the end zone catch, but was ruled out of bounds. Quinyon Mitchell makes the out of bounds signal. I like it. I like the attitude. That's the kind of attitude you need in the corner at cornerback in the secondary. And to see that we're getting that Quinyon Mitchell, to me, it's not the end-all be-alls, but that's a sign. Those are the things that I like to look for in camp. Signs that they got the physical and mental ability to play in this league. And not only that, but to play for the Eagles, okay? Jeff McClain wrote this. Pound Eagles rookie cornerback Quinyon Mitchell had a couple strong one-on-one reps versus A.J. Brown. There appeared to be some talk in between the two. Mitchell said he would keep their conversation private. In the spring, Brown said Mitchell once told him he ran a trash route. I like it. I really do. I think that Mitchell is showing that he's the perfect fit for the Eagles. So, really, that's what happens when you put on the pads. Things get ramped up, and it's good to see guys like Carter, Mitchell. We're talking about these young guys. These young guys are making a name for themselves, and quickly. Elliott Shore Park, he wrote this about Jalen Hurts, for those who are wondering. Jalen Hurts, pretty good day again. Now, today was the first day, they said, where he actually had a pass that was an actual bad pass that should have led to an interception that Ringo I basically didn't catch it, but it should have been picked off, and that was really the first bad pass, like in terms of giving away a turnover that he's had. So far, I can't tell you how much different we're hearing about Jalen Hurts at camp. And you guys know, Elliott Shore Parks loves to do these, keep statistics of the quarterback. I don't put a lot of stock in it, but I do find it entertaining. Eagles training camp stats, day 5. Let's see. Jalen Hurts, 14-21. 6 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Like I said, that should have been intercepted. Apparently, Ringo didn't catch it, which isn't good for Ringo. But he gave him a B on the day. And I haven't seen anything less than a B every day for Jalen Hurts. So, Jalen Hurts off to a good start. Eagles off to a good start. Now, remember, they have a walkthrough tomorrow, so we won't be live streaming because the walkthrough is closed for public. We might do one in the afternoon, but not one in the morning. And then Thursday, Philly Shakedown Podcast, we will be live for the Eagles open practice. So we will be streaming that. Come hang out with us. You'll have the Hall of Fame game going on sometime around then too. So should be an interesting show. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat, remember. It's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. The Liverpool staff is taking in Eagles practice. What the hell is a Liverpool staff? Is that soccer? Is that soccer? I don't know. Seriously, I don't know what the hell it is. I think it's soccer. I don't watch soccer. I gotta tell you, I don't. I don't. I never did. I just can't. To me, my philosophy on soccer is this. Why kick the ball when you can pick it up and run with it? It just never made any sense to me. Denzel Washington out.
Hi, Michael Anthony Fitness here, MAF.
That's all.